Hello everybody, this is Saturday and today we have to talk about Final Destination Bloodlines, everything we know, and some crazy new information that may change everything. So let's jump right into it. Alright, so we have to talk about the movie Final Destination Bloodlines. It's supposed to be coming out, as you know, in 2025, and there have been some rumors coming out about exactly what the plot is. So the rumored plot that we had so far before this big news broke about everything that could change it forever was this. We had a situation where it was going to be going after a specific bloodline. Someone's family a long time ago saw death coming, it saw the pattern, and prevented an event from happening. Well, after they prevented that event from happening, what happens? Death moves on. They managed to save all of their friends for an undisclosed amount of time and presumably save themselves forever until, they die of old age or whatever. But their family is not as lucky. Their family now has a cursed bloodline of all these people who were never supposed to be born at all. And that's where death has sort of sparked this grudge against them. Now, this is interesting because it could be not just this family then, but several people who know them, who are fortunate enough to get to know them through time and get to know them by just meeting them on the street. Because if you know anything about fate, you know that there's only 6 degrees of separation is what they say. And then also everybody's life touches another. So anytime you think that your life isn't touching someone else's life, just you knowing that person, saying hi, talking to them could impact some small detail of their life and change events forever. So it's a very interesting premise for this movie to do that. And with this grandma supposedly seeing events that were happening and being able to save her friends, ultimately by doing that, she's able to have a family that is able to influence so many other people's lives. Now, that's a bit crazy to think of, but it's not out of the realm of possibility when you consider how fate works. And I think that's very cool. I liked that premise of the plot. I really liked that that was where they were heading. I thought that would be a really good thing. Well, a bit of news has now come out about this movie that changes a little bit more. One thing that they say is that they are going to change how this movie franchise goes forever. Now, I don't know exactly how they're going to do that. We'll get back to that and theorize about that a little bit later. But news has also come out about what is the opening tragedy of this movie. Well, supposedly it is a restaurant. I know, a restaurant. What's scary about a restaurant? I could see maybe dishes flying around decapitating somebody or something, but this isn't Poltergeist. This is Final Destination. So it's all got to feel natural. It's got to feel odd. I mean, of course, nothing in this movie feels 100% natural, but that's what makes it scary. The strange events that conspire to cause these people's deaths. But when they say they're putting it in a restaurant, I become a little worried. That is until you know the twist. And the twist of it is that this isn't just any restaurant. No, this restaurant is a skyrise restaurant. It's a restaurant that's on top of a skyrise. I don't know if you've ever seen these types of restaurants, but they exist all over the place. You have a skyrise and a restaurant that's on top of it. And they really are beautiful because you get to watch the sun go down as you're eating, if you're eating supper. Maybe you eat breakfast there if it's on top of a skyrise that also happens to be a big, huge hotel. Things like that. It can be a really beautiful environment. So having something like that that's deemed to be that peaceful and that exciting and that good is kind of cool. But then you also have to look at it this way. Now we're not just talking about a tragedy that's going to affect just the people on the top of the skyrise restaurant, but you're talking about a tragedy that's now going to affect this entire skyrise. Because ultimately what you can probably expect is that this skyrise will collapse. this whole skyrise will collapse and everybody in it will die. Well, here's the thing about that too. That's kind of odd. That raises the stakes, and that makes me a little bit more excited for the fact that they're putting it in a restaurant, because now you have this level of tragedy that this person could prevent, but how many people can they actually save? How many people can they actually save by doing this? We don't know. They can't save everybody in the skyrise, or who knows, maybe they could. And what are some of the consequences that would come from that? Because now you have a whole bunch of consequences of them seeing the future, of them seeing this horrible event before it happens and actually managing to stop it. Now, if it was just that, this movie still might not be everything that you want in a Final Destination movie, because we've seen this 100 times. We know they stop the event, that they save everybody, right? Only this time, they said something odd. They say that the person that sees this tragic event this time doesn't do what everybody else has done before. In fact, they do something different than everybody else has done before. Now, think about this, because this is big. Because usually we know a couple things. They try to save everybody. There's an argument they save everybody. Some of them they save begrudgingly, and these people don't like them. Until all of a sudden they're having to save their lives because these people are getting knocked off by death coming for them. And then they kind of all want to team up and figure out a way to stop it. Now when you have this event where the person isn't supposed to do what everybody else in every other movie has done. That's a game changer, because could it be that this person is shy? They don't like conflict, so when everybody argues with them, they just kind of leave. They have to be careful about how they do this, because if the person doesn't save everyone, if they don't argue and save everyone, it's going to make the main character look bad, and you don't want the main character to look bad. Of course, the main character can't just let the event happen, because if the main character lets the event happen, then that means the main character is going to die. So we can automatically cross that out. We know the main character isn't going to let the event happen, at least not with them there. And I say at least not with them there, because if they're shy and they don't like conflict, and these people are arguing with them and they don't believe them, maybe they say fine and then they leave. They take their friends and they leave. The other alternative is a little bit more horrendous. They could just take their friends and leave and let the event happen. But like I said, here's the thing. You want to make the character likable. So in order to do that, you're going to have to do something really different. You're going to have to make this character likable while making sure that we know that they are not going to save everyone. And I think the way it's going to go is that this person probably just don't like conflict, or just gives up, lets the other people go because they know they're not going to be able to save them, and they don't want to argue with these people. Maybe these people turn violent or hostile on them, and they just say, okay. Now, that means you're going to probably have a lot smaller group of people dying in the movie, just the friends that this person takes with them. So that's where this whole bloodline thing comes in, because it's not just them now, it's the families of the people they know and everything else that could suddenly become targets. So the movie doesn't really cross out what it's doing if it goes this way. But they did promise that. They said that the person isn't going to do what is typically done in the Final Destination movies. They're going to do something completely different. So I think what they're talking about is that they potentially could just walk away. Now, they also promised that this is going to change the Final Destination franchise forever. So it is important to note here that they are going to connect all these movies. So everything that happened already happened, and it won't be taken away from by events going forward. So them saying they're going to change everything is all good, but they're going to change everything and at the same time give us all the events that have happened before. So the first movie, being what it was, is going to continue on as that. The prequel that we got is going to still be the prequel, and all the movies in order that they happened are going to have happened. You know, with the exception of that prequel that goes before the very first movie. But everything now is going to change according to them. So changing the franchise is what they're going to do. Now, we don't know how this is going to change the Final Destination franchise forever, but if they're talking about a bloodline situation in this family, maybe this family living, we could see them move on into the next movie or focus on things that are kind of going on with people who know this family. So it could kind of start to follow a smaller group of people. But if you know anything about fate, like I said, you know that this is a big group of people we're talking about. The sky is still the limit in terms of what they can do. But I do think that it's odd for them to say that they're going to change the franchise forever as well. Because now you do have some big promises being made. You have some promises that you now have to fulfill. And in order for them to do this, they're going to have to deliver in an epic way. And I think that what I've heard so far about this movie seems pretty cool. I like the whole setup that they have about this person maybe not being able to save everyone for once. But could it be an accident that they don't save everyone, or is this an intentional choice based on the events that unfold during them explaining what's going to happen? We don't necessarily know that. But that's the news that has come out. That's the promises they have made about changing this franchise forever. But I'm going to leave it off to you guys now. I want to know what you think about this whole setup, with it being a restaurant, a skyrise restaurant. Do you think that's going to be epic? Do you think that's on a grander scale than all the rest of them we've gotten? And do you think that they can actually change the franchise forever? I want to know exactly what you guys think on those two things. How do you think they could do that? Do you think that from now on we're going to follow one small group of people? Or do you think it's going to be the way it was, just maybe focused a bit more on a fate type of thing than it has been? I mean, I've always seen it as fate, but how do you guys see it going forward? What do you think they could change that would change the franchise forever? As always, make sure to leave us a comment in the comment box below. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this conversation as well. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and you know we really do appreciate it. Also, Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. While you're down there, hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.